Morning, folks. Welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. And wrapping it up, we have Eric Clark, the soul speaker and author. He's here to soulfully help you craft your story and narrative. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the Fam Five.
It is so good to be back. It is so good to be back. Thank you guys for joining us for Transformation Tuesday, the latest edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. You might notice I'm a little hype. I'm a little excited. I am happy to be back after being away for a week. And I touched base as much as I could when connectivity would allow, or my meetings would give me a break. So I jumped in as often as I could, but it's not the same. It was not the same as really being able to be in the virtual room and hang with my Fam Five and, see all your comments as they're coming through. So I, for one, am happy to be home. That's why they say home, sweet home. I had a fabulous time in India. It was transformative. So definitely what we talk about on Tuesdays is what I experienced as a part of that trip. And I know as I have time to continue to reflect and get my sleep caught up and my schedule turned back around to this side of the world, that transformation will continue. But it certainly had a powerful impact, but it highlighted for me just how much you guys mean to me, how important it is to spend my mornings with you all and get the day started. It was the opposite. So I wasn't starting my mornings with you when I joined over there. It was around 6:30 p.m. So it was the end of the workday. So even that it was just different, right? Everything was different than what I'm accustomed to. So it feels so good to be back. It's a busy time. Everybody's getting ready for the holidays. I have family in town already. The kids are about to get out of school. There's just so much going on, but we're here. And it's exactly where we should be. It's exactly where I want to be. And so I am thrilled. I see Conchita has already joined us. She says, terrific Transformation Tuesday to everyone. Right back at you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being with us as often as you are and bringing so much positivity and support. We appreciate you. Ernestine, I see you as well as joining us from Nigeria. So I say hello, cousin. I call everybody from Nigeria my cousin until I can narrow it down and actually learn a little bit more about that part of my family history. I know the majority of my bloodline comes from Nigeria, but that's all I know. So I am so looking forward one day to visiting there and figuring out more about that part of my heritage. So I get a little extra excited whenever I see folks joining in from Nigeria as well, because I just feel that connection, even though I don't know exactly how it is and where it leads. It's just good to see. So welcome, everybody. We actually we're showing up on Instagram as well today. Today I used to have 3 devices going, and so I would be on 3 places here, and then I would have Instagram and TikTok on 2 other devices. Well, those service that I used to stream added Instagram now, so we're able to be there as well. So anyone watching from Instagram, welcome. I'm so glad to have you at least for an hour. I saw that there was something going on with the service this morning that it cuts off after an hour, but that's about as long as we go anyway, so it should be perfect. Good morning, Kim. It is always good to see you. You're hopping this morning. You're supporting all over the place. I saw you in Dr. Marcia's room, which was so powerful. I was glad to be able to catch some of that before we started up. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always good to see you. Welcome to all of the fam five that are here. Denise is still in Grenada, and they've had a lot of rains there, and so her connectivity is really, really shoddy. She was reaching out this morning trying to connect, but I don't think she can get a stable enough service to be with us. So we wish her well. We always miss when her presence is not there, but we also know that whenever it's possible, she's going to be here because that's just the type of person that she is. But right now, she's continuing to serve in that community, that part of the world, and we are grateful for what she's doing there. And we can't wait when we get the opportunity to see her again. But in the meantime and in between time, it is Transformation Tuesday. I do have a quote from you guys this morning from Ms. Oprah Winfrey herself, who said, "The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future merely by changing his attitude." So she was always, has been, and probably always will be really, really big on mindset. She had a very difficult beginning, and she shared lots of that throughout the years, but none of that stopped her. I would say it propelled her to becoming the person that we know as much about as we do. I'm sure there's a side to Oprah that we will never know, but from her public persona and the changes that she's made in the world and the support that she's given to so many, you wouldn't have thought from those beginnings that would be how her life would unfold. And I think that is a perfect message for every one of us. Whatever our beginnings were and whatever is happening now, we all have the ability to transform, to take everything that we've experienced and look at it a little bit differently than the way we may be looking at it now. A lot of times the emotions of it all, the trauma of it all is so heavy that it's really hard to see it as anything but bad. And although bad things do happen all the time, and we all have history of trauma and different things that we've encountered, just by shifting our mindset about those things, it does not preclude the fact that something terrible happened. It does not say that it's okay that it happened. But what it does say is, I'm not going to allow this to continue to traumatize me. I'm not going to allow it to continue to hold me back. I am going to live my life out loud. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I am going to be the best version of myself, despite where I began, or despite the obstacles that have shown up, despite the trauma that I may have experienced. And how do we do that? We start to get to a point to where, beyond the emotions of the experience and the negativity of the experience, we start to look for what we got from it. Did you learn something about yourself? Do you see that you're stronger than you thought you were? Do you see that you're more resilient? Do you see that you're capable of doing and coming through more than what you ever knew that you were? There is strength that we find in ourselves when we go through those difficult times that we otherwise would never have known was there. So at a minimum, we can start to look at that. And in doing it that way and focusing on that, we give ourselves an opportunity to leave the hurt of it behind and take the gifting that we can take from it and integrate that into our lives and use that to propel us forward. That's the best that we can do. We can't undo the bad thing that happened or the bad things. We can't undo the obstacles that we've had to overcome, but we can decide that we're going to use them to our advantage instead of allowing them to continue to hold us back. That's what transformation is. It's the renewing of our minds. It's taking what we've been given, playing the hand that we've been dealt to the best that we can. There is no bet. I don't know if any of you guys have ever played spades before, but sometimes you have the worst hand, right? But if you decide to look at that thing right, If you decide to step into it with power and the right confidence, you can take somebody with a great hand and flip it upside down. They are overconfident. They think they're going to do so much, and one right play from you, and you turn the game, and they end up with a negative, and you end up with a positive. That life is like that. Life is like that. Play the hand that you've been dealt. You don't get to control. You don't get to choose the cards. You don't get to lay them out in the order that you'd like for them to fall, but you are going to get the same number of cards, right? Every player gets the same number of cards, but you have your unique hand. And the best that we can do is play that hand to our advantage. Play it to the best that we can play it. So now I don't have any spades in the game. It's called spades. What am I going to do? I'm going to struggle a little bit at this on this particular round, right? But if I show up with the right mindset, I may be able to do a little bit of damage, put a little crack in, and turn things just a little bit into my to my advantage. It's all about mindset and how we choose to look at it. Because the other thing I could do and go, well, there's no way. My hand's terrible. There's no point in me even playing. I'm not going to even play this round. If that's the attitude when things are difficult, then the opportunity to win and to have the life that you desire gets less and less and less. Don't know where the cards analogy came from, but that's just what came up this morning. So just think about that. What hand have I been dealt? Right? I didn't necessarily choose it, but this is what I have. And how am I going to play this to the best of my ability? When you're looking at whatever is going on in your life with that mindset, you're going to get through. It may be a rough hand, but the game is multiple hands. It's not a one hand game, right? So we'll see what comes the next hand, and then we play that to our advantage. We see what comes the next round. We play that to our advantage. You're looking at how you make the best out of what you have. When that's your mindset, you cannot help but to be successful. It may be your ride may be a little bit bumpier than the next person's, so it appears, but you just never know. That's the other thing that's amazing about spades. We have to make all these decisions and we play all these things, but we don't exactly know. As the game unfolds and we get a little bit deeper into it, those of us who've been playing a while, we can kind of figure out based on what's been played before, who's got what, and it starts to become a little bit more apparent. But in the beginning, you just don't know. You don't know. Everyone's sitting around the table. All you see is the back of their hand. So all you know is what you have. And you have to start to make some assumptions and try and figure out how things can unfold best for you. That's how life is. I can't see exactly the hand that's been dealt to any of the rest of my fam five. I can't. I can make some assumptions. I know what they've shared, but we all have a part of us that's just ours. I don't think we'll ever know each other so well that we know everything. It's just not the way the game of life is usually played, right? There's some things you keep close to your vest. There's some things that are just so personal that they don't come up, they don't come out. You've pushed them away. So we know what we know, and we know to the best of our abilities, but our hand, all we really know is what we have. And if you can focus on what you have versus being concerned so much about what everybody else has, be concerned about what you have and how you can use that to the best of your ability. How can you play your hand to win, right? If you're coming from that mindset, you'll win. It may take you a while to get there, but that's the beauty of life. As long as we're still breathing, the next hand is coming. The next hand is coming. And those difficult hands teach you skills. They teach you how to maneuver and adjust and be creative and think outside the box and do the things necessary to keep moving forward. They teach you critical skills that will help you as you continue to elevate. As you continue to bring on new opportunities open up, you're better prepared for those. You're better prepared to actually enjoy the easy hands when you've worked hard a little bit and figured out how to manage the difficult hands. There's lessons in the difficulties, and then there's enjoyment and reward in those good hands. So life is both, right? Sometimes, I don't know if anybody who's played, you know what Boston is. If you have a Boston, that means you get all 13 books. It doesn't get any better than that. Sometimes we're in Boston seasons in our life. And it's like we're just walking in the sunshine. Everything's unfolding beautifully. Life is good. You're in the flow and things are just happening. But that's not all the time. Then there's times where you're fighting to get the 4 books, just to get bored. You're fighting just to have enough to keep going, to stay in the game. Both of those are real experiences, and then there's so many variations in between. But the point of it all is whatever hand you've been dealt, play it to the best of your ability. Just stay in the game. Keep fighting, keep moving forward, and be prepared for the next hand that's going to come your way. So, Oprah's quote for us this morning is: the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. So, I just want to encourage you to keep checking in on your attitude. How are you looking at things? The holiday season is coming, and while it's so festive for so many, it's difficult for others, right? People are dealing with losses for the first time. They will gather or not, and people that they're so accustomed to being around won't be there. So there's things like that that are real life situations that are going on, and so we can't assume that everyone is experiencing things the way we are experiencing them. So the best we can do is check in first with yourself, know where you are, what mindset you're in, how you're showing up in the world, and where it's not what you'd like for it to be. Take some time, do the work, and then check in on those folks around you. Sometimes you may be the only smile someone sees in a day. So take the time to give that free gift of a smile just as you're passing strangers, especially those who look like they're not going to smile back. They're probably the ones that are either deepest in thought or struggling with something the most, and they need it even if they can't give it back. Even Don't take it personal. Just realize that you did your part. You added a little sunshine into a situation, and they may not even be able to feel it until later on down the road. You may not get it back in that moment, but it's coming back to us. What we put out, we get back. So we don't even worry about an individual situation. Show up as who you are, the best version of yourself at all times, and the rest of it will take care of itself. So let's see. Eric, how are you feeling this morning? You're looking great. You look like you're ready to take on the world. Are you ready to share this morning?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm Grand Rising first, foremost to everybody. Just extremely excited to be here this morning. Excited to have you back. We certainly missed you, and so we're certainly happy to have you back. As I think about Transformation Tuesday this morning, and the quote, I'm definitely drawn to Oprah. I'm Chicago son, so I actually have friends that interned for Oprah, and that's what I immediately thought about is some of the stories that they told me about what it was like to intern for Oprah. And the one story that I remember that I'll share is my fraternity brother was in the cafeteria with her one day, and she passed by, and she didn't even speak to him, but he just remembered her presence. She was always focused, always goal oriented, always accomplishing a goal. And he loved how she led by example. She was the hardest working. She was motivated. She was constantly dropping gems, always pulling folks to the side and dropping little gems. And so um, he always spoke highly of how motivating she was and how encouraging, and she didn't let the moment pass. She always accepted the moment. It was present to be that gift, to be that motivator, that mentor in that moment when you needed it. And so that always stuck with me, that um, she appeared to be in her purpose, always moving in her purpose, and always powerful and understanding her power, and able to uh, intersect and meet people where they were at and provide that encouragement, that motivation, that push to help folks transform and be their best selves. And so I really appreciate the quote this morning. I'm certainly feeling motivated to continue to move in my purpose this morning too. So happy to have us all back. Definitely heart goes out to Denise this morning, dealing with all that rain and the internet knocking out. She wants to be here, and we certainly want our sister here with us too. So definitely thinking about our sister Denise this morning as well.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Let me jump over for a few minutes and look at some of the comments that have come in so far. And then Brian, if you're able, after that, we'll go to you. I know you're in dadpreneur mode this morning, so we'll let you tell us if it's a good time after I finish with the quotes. So Conchita said, perfect quote for this season. Our mindset truly sets the blueprint of how our lives unfold, good or bad. What matters is how we handle the circumstances to produce the best outcome. There you go. Play the hand that you're dealt. Play it to win. Perfect quote for this season. Our mindset truly sets the blueprint for how our lives unfold, good or bad. What matters is how we handle the circumstances to produce the best outcome. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Brian Bing said hello from Atlanta. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know who LinkedIn user is this morning, but you said your mindset is the big tool to navigate your situation. So whoever said that brilliance, let us know who you are. Just drop your name. Your mindset is the big tool to navigate your situation. Hey, Miss Cynthia Noakes. Cynthia is joining us from Facebook, and she said, good morning, Fam 5. Welcome back, Cassandra Terry. Thank you, thank you. I am glad to be back, if you can't tell. And she also said, so true, timing is everything. It absolutely is. And she said, hashtag Boston season. So we know we have a spades player there. And then Sonia said, good morning, Fam 5. Good morning, Sonia. It's always good to see you. You are always here and supportive, and we appreciate you so very much. So let me go back to our quote from none other than the Ms. Oprah Winfrey, who said, the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future merely by changing his attitude. So with that, Brian, is it a good time for you to share?
Yeah, I'm just getting punched in the face, getting bombarded with what are we watching here? We're watching what's that? Is that SpongeBob? No, that's Mario, and just a whole bunch of other stuff today. I'm dadpreneur to the fullest today. My little angel is not feeling that well, and she knows when she's not, she's gonna be right up under dad, and dad's not moving. Although I got meetings all day, they're gonna have to. They're gonna
y'all
either,
have meetings all day, because I know she's gonna be right there.
yeah, either the meetings are gonna have to get pushed back, which that's not gonna happen, or everybody that's in the meeting today is gonna have an extra participant, and that's cool with me because she's my best bud.
Bree, have you signed the
When
NDA? We can't have you talking our stuff. We need her to sign on the dotted line. We need a non-disclosure, because them little ones like to
talk. She over here smiling. Funny thing is, she knows what you're talking about.
I know she
She's like, Dad, non-disclosure. Not signing disclosure. Didn't you always say never to sign an NDA? but what comes to mind when I think about attitude? I think about being able to create strategy, right? A better life starts with a better strategy. This is a long life we got ahead of us, right? I don't care if it's only one more day. If you only have one more day, 24 hours is a very long time. A lot can happen in 24 hours. The road to a better life not only starts with a strategy, but it also starts with one step at a time. And that's what transformation means for me. That's what attitude means for me is having the patience and the confidence to take it one step at a time, and to take it, play it how it comes. This is not what I expected today. I expected to be dropping this little big head soldier off at school, But when she wasn't feeling well, everything changed up, right? And we're gonna take it one step at a time to get her back to 100 because that's what's most important. And that all comes with attitude. It all comes with the way you position your mind to deal with uh these obstacles, catastrophes, and just the mishaps and things that go along in everyday life. It's part of it. And your
I have a
attitude
question for you,
dictates
Brian.
how your outcome is going to be.
That's right. Our attitude does dictate our outcome. Sorry to cut you off, but I was just thinking because one of the things
No,
that
you do it.
with this being Transformation Tuesday, one of the things that I've heard you talk about before is how you're a different dad now than you were with your older kids. Of course, we all do the best that we can wherever we are, in our current situation, but it doesn't mean that we're not learning, growing, evolving, picking up new skills and habits. So you see yourself clearly as one type of dad with the older children versus the dad that you are now with Bree. That's transformation. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that particular transformation as an example for the audience today?
No, absolutely. That's one of my favorite stories. That's my hero journey. Because when I was younger, it was all about the money. And suffice to say, kids could be sick. I'm like, look, y'all gonna have to wait till I get back. You got your mom, stay with her. I'll be back. Dad's working, yada yada yada. And now, and it offends some people sometimes because now, if Bree is sick, everything get put on hold, and she'll be the one to tell everybody, hey, take me to my dad, and everybody knows that dad's not gonna say no. There's no way I'm gonna tell my sweetheart, my angel, hey, I don't have time. Dad got to do this today. Dad got to do that today. Now, whenever Bree is around and whenever Bree isn't feeling good, whenever Bree wants to do what Bree wants to do, you only get this shot one time in life. You hear her now? You hear her snoring like a bear, right? Because she's not feeling well, and she knows I can get right up under my dad, and he's not gonna move me. He doesn't care if the whole world knows that I'm up under him, and I'm taking away his time on screen. He doesn't care, and I don't care. And I wasn't like this before. One thing that I do remember growing up was my t-shirts. Whenever I pulled out a new t-shirt, I've always been real keen on the kind of t-shirts that I buy. So that the necklines got to fit a certain way. The arms have to they have to go down so far, and the way that it drapes off of my midsection, it's got to hit a certain way. And if you touch that t-shirt, we gonna have a problem. And my oldest used to always put stuff on the t-shirts, and I used to walk around. Man, I'd be in a mood all day, from a little drop of peanut butter or a piece of turkey that got on my shirt. And now I can pull out 3 packs a week, and I really do pull out about 3 packs a week with this one because she goes through at least 2 a day, getting all kind of stuff on them, ripping them up, pulling them this way, pulling them that way. But I'm a new man, I put away those childish things. And when I think about those childish things, it's a mentality, it's an attitude that the father was speaking of when he talked about putting away childish things as you matured. When I was younger, I always thought it was about materialistic things, but it's really your mindset. It's really your attitude toward life. Who cares if the t-shirts get torn? You know, who cares if I don't get to do all of the things that I had planned to do today? What matters most is, am I there for my children when they need? That's what matters most. That's the transformation that I experienced. When my oldest said to me one day, she came in, she said, I appreciate you going out there and doing all of that. But all I wanted was a little more time. And I told you the other night, she called me. I'm getting a little choked up. The other night she called me and she said, hey, what you doing? I told her what I was doing. We went back and forth for like 2 minutes. And then we stayed on the phone for like 2.5, 3 hours, just sitting there listening to silence and what the other one was doing. And when the phone hung up, she immediately texted me. She was like, hey, you hung up on me. I'm like, nah, I didn't hang up on you. Thought you hung up on me. But the important thing was we sat on the phone for almost 3 hours, and all we did was just spend some time with each other. And I think she was testing me. She was like, so now that I'm grown, are you still gonna give me that time I told you I wanted when I was a 12-year old? Absolutely. To the day I'm not here anymore, and even after that and beyond, I'm still gonna be here giving you that time. That's the transformation that I experienced. And when I experienced that transformation, what I found was all of the stuff that I was searching for came to me. I didn't even have to look anymore, right? Because I was taking care of what was important most. And it was these little Oompa Loompas that I call my favorite
Love
people in the
that.
world.
I love it. That's a beautiful story. Thank you. I know I put you on the spot, but as you were talking, it just aligned with, it's a true life example of what transformation can be, in somebody's life. Because I think we all think about different things. I want to go from a size this to a size that. I want more of this, that, or the other. And those things are all valid. What you want is what you want, and you don't have to defend that to me or anybody else. But I just happen to know, a bit about that particular journey that you took, and I just thought it was so relevant and just a nice way to bookend, transformation today. So thank you for that. I see that the LinkedIn user was Ava. So thank you so much, Ava. And I'm going to jump over and look because I noticed that the live is working on Instagram. I see Cynthia Brewer is there. Thank you for joining. Catwoman 51. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for being with us today. And R Deep, we see you as well. And thank you so much for joining. I can see you guys' comments, on Instagram as well. And Cynthia said, "Good morning, everyone." So good morning to you as well. We are glad that you all are here, and it's good to see that that connection is working and allowing us to, expand our reach easier to, another social media platform. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. I can see all of that active and people connected and responding this morning. So that's great. One more time, today is Transformation Tuesday. And the quote came from Oprah Winfrey. And she said, "The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude." So I'm going to pitch it over to you, Jay, to wrap up this Transformation Tuesday. I'd love to hear when you saw this quote, what comes to mind for you.
You know, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is having that positive attitude. Um, just kind of understanding where we need to be as far as having our mindset, especially to start out the day. And now, with a couple of weeks away, the new year, right? Everybody, right around this time, this is when we all start talking about transformation, right? The thing about transformation, though, is resilience, grit, and making it last, right? We don't just transform if we really want to transform our mindset to something that's positive, that it's just going to be one, overnight, and two, that it's going to stay overnight and that's it. It's not going to carry on. And the way I see mindset shifts and transformation, true transformation, is one that is long lasting, one that's going to carry you throughout your life, not just in the moment and not just in a season. That's important. And so, if we want to take a look at transformation, let's start with the Bible, right? Like I always do. And let's start with the letters to the Romans, right? So if you look at the Bible and you look at the book of Romans, it's a set of letters to Romans from Paul, the apostle Paul. And he's talking to them, at that time, if you know history, not just the Bible, but history as well. Nero, who was 16 years old, ascended and he became the ruler, the emperor of Rome. A lot of crazy things happen. Teens, man, teenagers, they haven't changed in centuries. They do crazy things. And he did a lot of crazy things as the emperor of Rome, a lot of sinful things that a lot of people were engaging in at the time. And one of the things he talked about was, yes, the sinfulness of humanity, but also the power of God's grace to miraculously and completely change lives. So when you read the Bible and you read the book of Romans, that's where that's coming from. So you got to understand that. And then let's read Romans chapter 5, verse 3. So Romans chapter 5, verse 3 is is about basically perseverance. Let's look at this. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. Let me read it again. So suffering produces perseverance, and then perseverance builds character, and then character builds hope. That's what that does. And so it's important to make all those connections because that's what transformation is. We go from it being a difficult situation, but if we just move through that in faith, right, understanding how this can help us, it will have a positive effect on you. And it could and it should have a positive effect on your attitude. The verse is encouraging believers to find a positive perspective on suffering instead of viewing it solely as a negative experience. What it's saying is it's suggesting enduring hardships can lead to personal growth, strength of character, right? And a hopeful outlook. This perspective aligns with the Christian belief that God can work through difficult circumstances to bring about positive transformation in individuals. I talked about it last week. If you feel that you can't make it through something, lean on someone. And for a lot of us who are Christians, we lean on God because that's what we should be doing. Leaning on an outside power for many might be odd, but as believers, we understand that we're never alone, even if we feel like we are. I have somebody who's a mentee who comes to me a lot, and because he can't go to nobody else. There's a lot of people that depend on him. And if he turns around and says, "Oh man, I don't know how to handle this," or I don't know how I'm going to be able to, maneuver through this situation, or I'm having a hardship with this, he doesn't want the people that depend on him to look at him like, "Oh man, he doesn't have it all together. He doesn't know what he's doing." And so he turns to me, and when he feels like it's really overwhelming, right, I don't hear from him. And that's when I go, "Okay, what's going on, man?" You know, and and I said, "I know you may not be able to turn to me in this moment, so turn to God." And he knows he's not alone, right? For those of you who aren't Christians and who are listening, the point is you are not alone. You are not alone where you are. And transformation sometimes needs help from someone outside of yourself. And if you're really going through some hard times, right? Then talk to a mentor, talk to a mindset coach, talk to somebody who can guide you, steer you in the right direction to help you through that adversity. But once you realize what happens after you've experienced that adversity, the hope that gets you through, there is going to be a blessing on the other side. And that's what I want to bring to the conversation today. Thank you, Cassandra.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. That summed it up beautifully. And that is going to wrap up today's edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show on this Transformation Tuesday. Remember what Ms. Oprah Winfrey said: the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future merely by changing his attitude. And what I hope that you take away from that is that you have more power, more control than what you believe that you do. There are small shifts that you can make in your thinking, in your focus, in your intentionality that can help you get moving through or out of a difficult situation. That type of mindset will keep you moving towards the goals that you have for yourself. And that's really what it's about. It's this we have this one life to live, but it doesn't belong just to us. We were each designed, from my brother Eric, on purpose with a purpose. And when you are moving with purpose, that's what you said about Oprah, Eric. That's what your frat brother witnessed, somebody who was moving with purpose, understanding that there is a reason for you to be here and that there's only so much time in the day, but that time is precious. And there are things that you want to get done. There are things that are important to get done. You have to have flexibility in those things. That's what Brian talked about. His daughter's sick today, so that turns his day on its ear. What was important yesterday, it falls down on the in the priority list today, and Bree takes that top spot. So that's what we're talking about, having such clarity in what it is that you want to transform to, being so clear about what you want out of this life that you can make the necessary choices, the necessary steps, the necessary adjustments day by day that's going to keep you on track and that will get you there. I did want to share with you guys that this Thursday, there's a vision board party that I'm hosting. It's a virtual vision board party. Eric's all pumped about it. And it's going to be this Thursday at 6:30 Central. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, there it says visit my store. It's just going to take you to one thing, and that's the link to enroll in that vision board event. It allows you to do it either way. If you want to do a virtual vision board and use software to create it, I can give you a link. I'll give you a link to the software so that you can do that. If you want to do a actual physical board, like I've got two of them in my office, if that's what you're interested in, I have a supply list so that you know the things that you want to gather and have around you by the time the party starts, so you're ready to go. We'll have a few minutes of getting centered and focused. And then we'll go into a goal setting workshop that just talks to you about what goals are and how to set good goals and gives you the opportunity to write down what's important to you. And then once you've done that, you are ready to start to grab the magazines, search for photos online, just however it is you want to create your board. Now you're ready to find physical representation of the things that you would like to see accomplished in your life. I love having my vision board around me. I can look at it at any point in time. I can see the things that have come to life or that are in progress right now. And it also serves as a reminder for things that I said that were important to me that I need to start implementing some tasks to get that going as well. So it's a visual reminder of what's in your heart, of what you really want to see come to fruition in your life. So join us on Thursday at 6:30. You guys can DM me and I will get you the link, or you can just go to my LinkedIn profile and you'll see the link there. So with that, we're going to close with the quote. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. So take that with you. When things are not going as you want them, check in, see how you're doing, how you're looking at it, and see if a simple attitude or mindset shift can help you get back on track. All right. Thanks, Fam5, for joining us. Thank you guys, everybody in the audience. Great to have you join us, Instagram. We will see you all back here tomorrow Same time, 7:15 a.m. Central. Tomorrow is Wake Up Wednesday, so we will talk about intentionality and its purpose in aiding you in achieving the life that you desire. So with that, see you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.